Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Let's get straight into the breaking news on Calafiori. Looks like Arsenal are getting closer to sign the Italian defender, and this is what has been reported today. So according to Di Marzio, Arsenal are in pole position and are getting closer to a deal. PSG, Chelsea, and Bayer Leverkusen have all got in touch regarding Calafiori, but Arsenal have presented a more intriguing project and offer for the player and Bologna. So you all know in terms of Di Marzio is probably one of the best from Italy in terms of Italian news. And we know over the last 1 week we've been really linked to Calafiori. And listen, this particular deal and this particular links came out of nowhere. Like, I'll be lying to you if I told you that I've known Calafiori, I've followed Calafiori the last 2-3 years. No, I only got to know him when I saw him in the squad for Italy. How that he had a good season for Bologna. Obviously, Bologna qualified for the Champions League, so he's definitely part of that. But I'll be lying to you if I told you, like, yeah, this is a defender that I definitely looked at. But at the Euros, he's been absolutely incredible for Italy, and the one game that he missed for them, they ended up losing very comfortably to Switzerland. So according to Di Marzio, Arsenal are getting closer to a deal. Now, listen, over the last couple of days, we've had a few lot of reports from people like from not Calafiori cannot report himself. People like Fabrizio, who say Arsenal and Chelsea remain both interested in Calafiori. As revealed last week, both clubs have explored conditions of the deal, and expensive as Basel will get almost 50% of the fee. So we'll talk about that one. So we expected Arsenal to get deals done in July very quickly. Like, for me, I don't really care that much. Yes, I want us to get players before preseason, but I don't think there's a difference in terms of whether you get a player on June 21st and then you get another one on June 28th and then you get another one on July 1st. You can get them on July 4th, 5th, and 6th, back-to-back days. Last summer transfer window, we announced Timber and Rice back-to-back days. So doesn't necessarily mean because you're 2 weeks into the transfer window and the team has not announced anything yet, nothing is going to happen. No. Over the next 2-3 weeks, I'm expecting a lot of movements in terms of incomings and outgoings, and Calafiori could end up being the second signing. Obviously, we got the rare deal in terms of a permanent deal recently, but Calafiori looks set to be the second signing that we get done. Now, there's a lot of questions in terms of this. Defenders. Now, I've made my thoughts clear on defenders. Do we really need a defender? I have said personally, I'm happy with our 7 defenders. I know Zinchenko is not the best of defenders, but I am happy to keep our 7 defenders and sort out our striker position, sort out our midfield position, sort out our winger position. That is what I'm happy with. And if you still have a budget, then you probably need to get a backup goalkeeper if Ramsdale leaves. Then after that, if you still have some spare change, then you can probably get a defender. But I did say, if an opportunity in terms of defender pops up, that is players like Hato and Branthwaite, and in this case, Calafiori, then you can end up getting that player absolutely no problem. There's no problem with adding more talent and more quality and more depth in your team. Absolutely no problem with that. And Calafiori would definitely bring that. Now, if Calafiori came and everyone stayed, that means we have 8 defenders. Now, in my head, if that happens, then basically can't be able to break that team down. Just imagine this: Ben White and Tomiyasu at right back, and then Saliba and Tima in that position, and then you have Gabriel and Kiva in that position, and then you have Calafiori and Zinchenko in that position. And even in that case, you can even push Zinchenko forward into the midfield positions, and then you have Kiva helping out Gabriel, and Calafiori, you have Timber helping out Gabriel and Calafiori. That is a very solid score. Like, we were able to keep close to 20 clean sheets last season. If you have a team like that and you add depth into it, remember, if you add Calafiori and then you're basically adding Timber as well because he wasn't there last season, and you're obviously also adding Tomiyasu because he missed more than half of last season. So that would be a very, very strong defense that might not concede any goals at all. For a team that was conceding one shot per game last season, that would be extremely strong. But the chances of that happening are very minimal. If Calafiori ends up joining us, that will probably mean Kivio or Zinchenko leaves. I kind of expect it to be Kivio because he's been linked to those Italian teams and he's played there before. It would be an easier choice for him. For Zinchenko, I don't know. There's not too many teams that have said that want him, and how much would Arsenal want for him? Would those teams be able to pay that money? That becomes a problem as well. So for me, I am happy with our 7 defenders, but there's no problem with adding depth in this. Now, how good is he? We've gone through this graphic before, but in case you haven't seen it yet, this are Calafiori's stats from this year's. They're already eliminated, but he starts from the Euros, the 3 games that he played. He picked up an assist, He created 4 chances. His passing accuracy was 92%, close to 93%. Aerial duels, he won 7 of them. He had a 77.78 aerial duel success in terms of percentage, and he made 6 interceptions. So that is really good. That's just for Italy. But what about Bologna last season? Because you also need to look at his club stats from last season. He picked up 5 assists. He created 14 chances. Passing accuracy very high as well. Aerial duels, the number is very, very high as well. Aerial duel success, 71%. Interceptions, very high as well. Now, if you look at those numbers, you rarely get a defender who can, contribute attacking returns and also defend at the same time. You rarely get those defenders. Maybe you go back to the days of players like Ashley Cole and players like that. If you look at our team, for example, we would say Zinchenko is very good on the ball. If you take him to midfield, he can pick up a pass. He can, play through the lines and get the pass to Odegaard, through pass to Saka and all that, and control the possession and keep the ball. But in defense, he's not the best. For Tomiyasu, one-on-one marking, tackling, and all that is quite good. But I mean, if you have him in the opposition box and give him 10 shots, how many would he score? If you know what I mean. So it's rare that you get a balanced player in terms of that, and I feel like Kadioglu is that. Those number of interceptions, aerial duels is winning. That makes him a very good defender. Tackles, and then up front he can create chances. He can get assists. He assisted a very crucial goal against Croatia to take them through to the knockout stage. In the game that he missed, you could tell that they were missing him, and it doesn't always correlate directly to that player like missing in that position. No, if he misses, it could mean that this particular player has to do this job and this particular player has to do this job because he's not there, and that affects the rest of the team. And I feel like he's a very, very important player. Now, there's a lot of things that make him fit the Arsenal way. His age is very young. The fact that he can play left back and also play as a left center back as well. On top of that, he wouldn't be cheap. That's the other thing. He wouldn't be cheap, though. Now, how much money would they be looking for? The reports are suggesting that they will be looking for more than 50 million euros. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Should we be spending that kind of money on defenders? I will go live very soon. I'll love to hear your opinions on that one. Now, why would he be expensive? According to Fabrizio, in terms of Basel and Bologna, Basel are getting 50% of the fee. First of all, the negotiation from Basel, that was incredible. To get 50%, I think they sold him for like 4-5 million to Bologna, and they include in that sell-on clause, which means even if Bologna sell Calafiori for 100 million, Basel get 50 million. I would love to do that business, man. Just imagine we sold Hutchinson to Chelsea, and then you told them if you sell him, you get 50%. You'd have banked, I think, 12 million now or something. Imagine that would have done the same. There's not too many players who've left Arsenal and went to, achieve a lot after leaving Arsenal. It's actually very rare. So I'm actually struggling to get examples because I'm thinking Sanchez didn't do well after that, didn't do well after that, didn't do well after that. Let's say someone like a Van Persie back in the day, we sold him for around 20-something million. Let's say Man United after 2 years sold him for like 70 million, and then we had a 50 million sell-on clause. We'd get 35 million from that. That is crazy. That is really crazy. So whoever did the business for Basel, well done to them. So that is why Bologna have to get a significant fee for the player so that they can actually make something. If they sell him for 20 million, they're only making 10 million from that deal, and that wouldn't really help them at all. This is a very, very promising player. A lot of teams want him, as we've been told. The likes of PSG, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Leverkusen all want him, so they can very easily get a bidding war for the player. They can get a bidding war for the player. This is a player that can help all of these teams, and teams would be ready to pay for him. So they have to try and get a significant fee. We'll break down in terms of money later on. But PSG, Chelsea, and Leverkusen have all got in touch regarding Calafiori, but Arsenal have presented the most intriguing project. Now, I'm interested to know what we've told him in terms of the project, because in terms of the project, you have one of the best. We are still hoping to try and win the league next season. They're trying to go far in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, the Champions League. We are hoping that in the next 2 years we've lifted like 3-4 trophies, and you're like, listen, this set of Arsenal players did not just finish their whole Arsenal career winning every time and not winning a trophy. We are hoping that a trophy will finally come, a trophy or 2 or 3 or 4, hopefully. Now, in terms of telling Riccardo Calafiori this is the case, I'm sure he'd want to do that. If you're competing against Juventus directly, he might want to stay back in Italy. But if it is us, Chelsea, Leverkusen, and PSG, in terms of project, yes, Leverkusen, very, very promising project. I can see why he would want to go there. PSG, I'm not sure right now. Chelsea, new manager, you still don't know what to expect from that. In terms of playing time, Chelsea, that side, they could sell Chilwell, but they have Cucurella, they have Colwill, a couple of defenders coming back, but Yeshil is there. Leverkusen have the likes of Grimaldo playing on that side. Jonathan Tah is still there, but to be fair for us as well, we have players like Tomiyasu, Kivio, Zinchenko. But unless we've told him, listen, I don't think this is what they tell players, but unless we've told him you're going to have a position next season, left back is your position. We're going to move on a couple of players, which is very likely. We could easily move on Zinchenko or Kivio, maybe even both of them. Who knows? I don't think it would be clever to move both of them on, because that basically means you need to get two defenders. I don't think we need to be spending that much time on defenders. I don't think though he'll be replacing Gabriel, because I've seen a lot of people saying, why are people celebrating Calafiori coming in? We already have Gabriel. Now Gabriel is definitely a starter. Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White for me are definite starters. I actually did not want any changes in defense. I want the team to come back and let's go with that back four. But Calafiori, I don't think would be like a direct replacement for Gabriel. I don't think he can replace Gabriel. Gabriel and Saliba have done incredibly well the last two seasons. Last season, he basically couldn't even concede a shot with those two there, with Declan Rice in front of them. We could not concede a shot. Now, imagine adding Calafiori to that. I don't think Calafiori will be replacing Gabriel. I think he'll be more of a left back. As we've seen, these stats that he has in terms of chances created, assists, passing accuracy, like this is from playing at center back. Now imagine him at left back. He can also play at left back. That would probably double, and he can create those chances. He can overlap and do all that and basically defend from the front as well. He can do that for you. So I don't think he'll be replacing Gabriel. He'll be more of a left back. And then when Gabriel needs a rest, then you can bring Calafiori to center back and have him with Saliba or someone, or Ben White, depending. Because next season, I don't want us to go out in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup early. If you can have a league game that week where we have Man City and Tottenham, we have a Champions League game in the middle there. We could have, I don't know, let's say, which team qualified there? Let's use Bologna. Let's say Bologna in that Champions League in that middle of the week. You can afford to have your usual defense of Ben White, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel for one or in the Premier League game against Tottenham, let's say. And then you have Bologna next, and you're like, okay, we have Man City very close. Let's give you a rest for this one, Gabriel. We're going to play Calafiori for this one. You can rotate the team so easily, and depending on what you're trying to do, like last season, I think against Bayern, we brought in Zinchenko. If it's a game where you need to try and get a goal, then you can bring in Zinchenko to help you create chances. You can bring in Calafiori. If you're trying to just park the bus and defend, and Kive is still there, he can come for the last 20 minutes and do the job for you. You can go into a back five, and depending on the formation you're trying to play as well, we could see some changes next season. We could see a lot of back three when you have the ball, and that is what we're trying to do, have the ball a lot. You could easily see a back three in the team. Like, so when you have the ball, it's basically Saliba, Gabriel, and let's say Calafiori as a back three. And then in front of them, there is, I don't know, Ben White and Rice, or Timber and Rice, depending on who's playing at right back. Or it could be Calafiori going into midfield, and then you have a back three of Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White. And then that means Rice is next to the midfield, to the other defender. And then in front of them, you basically have 5 attacking options. Then at that point, you can fit in Havertz and also a new striker, and also Saka, and also Odegaard, and also Martinelli or Trossard. That is a formation that can allow you to have all of that. And when you're playing at home against teams that you expect to score goals against and create a lot of chances, then that will be very, very dangerous. So Calafiori will definitely help the team. He'll definitely improve the team. But is he worth that 50 million? Let me know. We'll be covering that on the live stream. But it looks like Arsenal are definitely progressing in terms of this deal. Seems like it's getting close, according to Di Marzio. Arsenal are in pole position to sign Calafiori and are getting closer and closer to a deal. Arsenal have presented a more intriguing project and offered the player offer for the player and Bologna. So good news. Looks like we're progressing in terms of deals. That is what you needed to do. I think June was kind of a funny one. Remember, we're only 2 weeks into the transfer window for those who are worried. It only started when the preview started. We still have a full 2 months to get deals done. Yes, preferably you want to get them done before preseason, but you have a good 3 weeks before preseason. And you can get one player per week. You can end up getting 3 players before preseason. So that I've no problem with that at all. I'm very confident you're going to get the deals done. Let us see what happens with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next